And thank you, Minister, for taking this. I did have an email from the Minister himself to say that you would be taking it because he's unavailable. I understand that it isn't an issue that you would necessarily be very focused on, but nonetheless, you know, I know you'll have a response for me, and we can take it from there. You know, the motion speaks for itself in the sense that, you know, I'm asking the Minister to initiate an e-scooter pilot scheme to test the viability of e-scooters sharing as a mean of clean transport for locals and visitors, and its potential for larger cities. So really, I know that the Department's position is that the RSA is currently looking at the safety and other implications of having scooters used in our cities and on our roads, and really we should be embracing innovation that exists. The idea that we would move to make these illegal makes no sense at all. I mean, are we complete dinosaurs or what? I mean, we need to look at the NTA's strategy of achieving zero carbon transport. Our colleague Noel Rock has done a lot of work on this, and it's only because I have been speaking to a few people who are involved in this area and looked into the issue a bit more that I'm supporting Noel in his efforts to try and get, I suppose, policymakers to see some sense on this. Currently, the Gardaí are actually, I heard, setting up checkpoints to confiscate these scooters, which cost people €500 or €600 or maybe more, and also fining them to get you know, for them to get them back. That to me is completely unacceptable. There is law there, to my mind, and I suppose to my legal mind, there is an interpretation issue with existing law, and it depends on whether it's a scooter that's pushed for the first, you know, to get it started, or whether you literally get on and start it straight away. The technology exists to make these safe, to limit the speeds that they can go at. You know, literally all of that can be looked at to make them safe for use on our roads. There was a time years ago when bicycles were told to get off roads because they were a danger to cars. You know, we need to embrace this innovation that exists, and other cities have done it, and it should be done in a way that's organised, that suits the cities, you know, that can be done in conjunction with cycling. And, you know, the more ways that we can find to have people out of their cars and not using pollutants, the better. And, you know, take the pressure off public transport as well. And if it can be done in a way where helmets are provided, you know, where they're parked in a specific spot, or whatever is deemed to work well from the NTA strategy for the country. But we can't just leave it in this grey area. It's completely unacceptable. We can't be complete dinosaurs. We need to look at this and to sort this out. Legally, it doesn't make any sense to suggest that we should be confiscating them. And the Gardaí, you know, I just don't understand that. So we need to put a pilot in place so that we can see how it works, we can see the pitfalls and any potential problems, and do it in an organised way. And we need to have Irish providers doing these. There are Irish individuals and companies who can put these in place in the country in a safe way in conjunction with city councils or county councils and the NTA and the RSA, you know, that would make sense, and you know, so that they're not a nuisance to anyone, and they work effectively to get people around. So I would welcome your response. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Noone. Minister.
Again, I want to thank Senator Noone for raising this issue this afternoon, and apologies from my colleague Minister Shane Ross, Minister for Transport and Tourism and Sport, who cannot be here to take the matter himself. The Minister, however, would like to thank Senator Noone for raising the issue of electronic scooters and providing him with an opportunity to discuss the matter. Minister Rossi is, of course, aware of the increasing number of e-scooters, electronically powered skateboards and similar small vehicles, both on our footpaths and on our roads. He asked me to start by outlining the current legal situation in relation to such vehicles. The Road Traffic Act 1961 defines a mechanically propelled vehicle as a vehicle intended or adapted for propulsion by mechanical means, including a bicycle or tricycle with an attachment for propelling it by mechanical power, whether or not the attachment is being used. It also includes a vehicle, the means of propulsion of which is electrical or partly electrical and partly mechanical. E-scooters and powered skateboards fall into this category. and are therefore considered to be mechanically propelled vehicles. Any users of such vehicles in a public place, as defined by the Road Traffic Act 1961, must have insurance, road tax and a driving licence, with penalties under road traffic laws, including fixed charge notices, penalty points, fines and possible seizure of the vehicle for not being in compliance with these requirements. As it is currently not possible to tax or insure e-scooters or electric skateboards, they are not considered suitable for use in a public place. Minister Ross has requested the Road Safety Authority to research how e-scooters and other such vehicles are regulated in other countries, particularly other EU member states. Minister Ross is keen to understand the road safety implications of the use of such vehicles on public roads, especially when interacting with other vehicles. Minister Ross is due to receive the outcome of the authority's research within the next few weeks. He will need to be satisfied that permitting such vehicles on the roads will not give rise to safety concerns, both for the users themselves and for all other road users, including cyclists, pedestrians and motorists. However, the Senate should note that, should the Minister decide that the benefits derived from the use of e-scooters outweigh the risks associated with using this type of transport, an amendment to primary legislation would be required. Minister Ross will not, of course, be supporting a pilot scheme for the use of e-scooters in our cities, while the use of such vehicles in a public place, as defined in the Road Traffic Acts, is ultra-various. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Senator Noone.
A brief response, and I could actually respond all day about this, because I already alluded to the fact that there is an interpretation problem, in the sense that one could argue that the fact that you have to start to propel some of them manually, and then the electric element kicks in, means that there is a grey area here. In fact, those two paragraphs where you're talking about e-scooters and powered skateboards fall into the category, and therefore considered to be MPVs, and they must have insurance, road tax and driver's licence. And at the same time, we're not even able to provide that to people if they wish to get it. I mean, this is just, that's actually outlining how crazy the situation is and how grey the situation is for everybody, for the Gardaí, for the Minister. And I spoke to the Minister about this myself, and I know that he doesn't wish for them to be illegal. So we clearly, if the last line is that he won't be supporting a pilot scheme for the use of e-scooters, in the context of the foregoing, of course he's not going to support a pilot scheme, but we need to sort out the legal situation, and then we can have a pilot scheme, and that can be done pretty quickly. So I would hope that you would encourage the Minister along those lines, and I'll be speaking to him as soon as I get an opportunity myself as well.
Thank you, Senator Noone. Minister, do you wish to respond?
Again, I'm sure the Senator will make her views known to the Minister, and as I say, I note that the Minister is awaiting a report on this matter, and I hope that report will be imminent, and that clarity will be brought to this matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.